Hello, I'm Emily Brennan. I'm here at the Freedom Hall, Church of God in Brooklyn on Monday, March 21st, 2011, and I'm talking with members of the Circuit family, clergy, and police who have partnered with the Brooklyn Clergy NYPD Task Force to combat black-on-black crime and host a number of programs, including a gun buyback program. Thanks to Star and Back of the Car Productions.
Work towards this initiative. We thank you especially for the young people who brought this initiative forward. We ask that you would continue to lead us and bless this effort. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Number one, thank you for coming. This is a very, very important meeting. If you read the papers just 2 weeks ago, black-on-black crime has escalated, homicide has escalated 31%. So we really have to unite as a people and strategize and put our heads together to see how we could bring about, guess what, dropping these numbers. Just being in school and talking to some of the young people at my school, one of the big problems that we're having now is that young people have access. And so talking to some of the students, they said they could purchase a gun for $150. They're 13. Nobody's older than 16, and yet guns are so easily accessed in our community. And when young people sometimes are not mature, then they do some very foolish things. So we're asking you that, guess what, at our next meeting, everybody, so that we could really begin to tackle this problem. And we want to thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. As always, I want to thank everybody for taking their time out of their busy schedule, coming out here tonight for this important cause that we have, trying to make a change within our community. Change, that's the only thing that's consistent in life. Other thing that's consistent in life is having dreams. This program that we have here right now was a dream of Lance, and I came in on it, piggybacked off it to try to make things happen. What people don't realize, in order to accomplish your dreams, you got to help someone else accomplish their dream. And people think dreams may start while you're sleeping. A dream is something floating in the air. But a dream is something that's right here, right on the ground. So I just ask everybody, don't step on our dreams. Help pick this dream up. Help uplift it. Because in doing so, you're going to also accomplish your dreams as well. I can much guarantee that. I'm going to let my brother Lance here give us a little insight on CFPC and what we're working with.
You know, I'm glad you guys did come out. Again, we're trying to do our best part to eliminate and eradicate the violence in the street and the guns on the street. So far, we've been doing a great job. We've raised quite a bit of money. And, you know, even though with the amount that we raised, which is, you know, in essence not a lot, it's a couple of thousand, but it's enough, you know, to show that we're serious about what we're doing. We hope to raise much, much more because, as you know, to take guns off the street, you have to give them an option. You can't just buy a gun for $100 off the street. It's just not going to happen. These kids have these guns, and unfortunately, some of them use their guns to make their living. If we can get them an alternative other than buying their guns, maybe a job with some job training, which is what we aim to do, then we could probably cut these numbers down, like Bishop Seabrook said, a lot. But again, it takes us. You know, we can't ask for the politicians, for all the powers that be. We are the new leaders. I explained this to you guys. Like it or not, you are the new leaders. Now, if we don't take the initiative and do this, it's not going to get done. We can't depend on anybody but ourselves. So with that being said, please, again, the next revival, bring someone. Let's have the place full. Let's have people know what the message is, that we're trying to eradicate violence on the street and take the guns off the street. And hopefully, you know, we can go ahead and just start buying the guns now. Thank you.
Raise funds to get money off get guns off the streets. So tonight we do want to take up an offering. We ask you to give as you were prepared to give. If there had been a revival program tonight, a revival service tonight, so we're going to ask Brother Ski and Brother Lance, take your hats and would you just go around and collect.
No, Bishop said, go ahead. He said, yeah. Okay, now me? Come here. Nice,
We would like to thank everyone for their generous contributions. In order to make things happen, it takes funds to make things happen. The police force has a saying, if you see something, say something. We have a saying, if you see something, do something about it. And that's exactly what we're trying to do today.
As you all know, great race or election, it takes a war chest to win. What we're trying to do today is build our war chest also. We have to have funds to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And we want to thank you very much. You know, you guys are here every meeting, and you do donate, and believe me, it does not go unnoticed. Thank you very much.
My name is Mary Washington, and I represent New York State Division of Parole, as well as Church of God of East Flatbush, and I sit on the board with the Brooklyn Clergy NYPD Task Force. So I work along with them in conjunction with the churches in the Brooklyn.
And how is the Division of Parole involved?
My chairwoman, Andrea Evans, we have our mission is to public safety, community safety first, and a lot of the young people that are possibly having the guns are under parole supervision. So we want to make sure that we're able to work with them so that the recidivism rate will be cut down,
Right.
so that they can successfully transition from parole back into the community.
Right. And how frequent is that for someone, you know, to be on parole and to...
Well, when you say frequent, most people that come out of the state facilities have different times under parole supervision.
Right.
It depends on whatever the board sets for them.
Right. No, I'm sorry. I meant that how frequent is it for them to reintegrate into gang life and to...
Well, it depends. And we have a lot of innovative programs in the Division of Parole, and just being a part of the Clergy Task Force is one
Right.
part of it. We have a group called Stable 24 where the men are out over 24 months
Right.
and not have committed another crime. We work with transitional housing to make sure that they don't have to go into shelters.
Right.
We have a program for the younger people. We're starting a program for the over 50. We partner with different agencies in the community for a computer lab. We have a program alternative to incarceration at Alpha School, where if a person is borderline to be reincarcerated, they would go there in an intensive program up to 5 days a week.
Right. Right.
So parole is not about just locking folks up, but it's about help folks to successfully reintegrate back into the community.
And do a lot of the parole officers know about the Clergy Task Force?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
oh yes. And we have a mentoring program with one of the churches, Church of God of East Flatbush. And when we did a presentation, many of the parole officers wanted to be mentors. So we mentor 3 to 1. And that means that, and we're going to have a conference on the 15th of April at Medgar Evers College. And we're looking at reentry from a spiritual perspective. Oh, you've tried everything else, so let's try this.
Right.
So
Right.
that's where we're on our way to now.
And what has been the response among the men and women you're trying to help?
It's been a good response. We have one person that goes in the institutions, and they talk to them to let them know what programs we have available. The mentors that go into Queensboro, and they speak to the young men there to see if they're interested in having a mentor. We're starting another process with Prison Fellowship where we start the process inside the prisons. Someone will work with the family, and the person that's working on the inside will transition out with that person. So a lot of new ideas are coming up how we can help people remain in the community.
Right. Is this something recent, all these different programs?
We've had a lot of programs, but we have a chairwoman who has a passion
Right.
to make sure that it's not about, there's two components, the social work component and the law enforcement. And when you come into this job, the social work component is first. The law enforcement component is second. But overall, it's public safety, and if we don't do something to help the people to come out, then the recidivism rate is just going to remain high.
Right. And does that put the other teenagers who had not been in prison in danger as well?
In
If
danger,
the recidivism is high?
if people return back to prison, then somewhere something good is not happening
Right,
that should
right.
happen.
Right.
So people need jobs, they need housing, they need training. They make license plates in prison. I don't know how the market is for license plates
Right.
out here. So they need to come out with a skill,
Yeah.
a marketable skill.
Yeah.
So some have done very well.
Yeah.
Some have gone to college and received their degrees. And so these are the kinds of things that we're trying to do. And our chairwoman has given us carte blanche to go on and be creative and to do these things.
Right. That's great.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
So can you tell me how the circuit family got involved with gun buyback programs?
Well, one of the things is a lot of the clubs. There's a lot of clubs. There's over 400 clubs, well over 400 clubs. We all individually are trying to do something to help our communities.
Right.
The idea of the gun buyback came to me from the 73rd precinct, and it was supposed to be just my club, which is trucked up. Looking at the numbers, the amount of crimes that's going on, mostly by gun violence, I said, this is too big for me. This is bigger than everybody. I need to get everybody involved. And being that I'm opposed to most of the other presidents, I just made phone calls. And I asked them, I said, this is what we want to do. Let's make this a community thing, and let's help out and get these guns off the street. Everybody agreed.
Yeah. And what's your goal with it?
Our goal is to eradicate as many guns as possible. If you take away the gun violence, well, number one, you have to understand there's a prevalence of poverty. As long as poverty is around, crime is going to be prevalent. And our thing is, if we can just give them an alternative, give some of these kids an alternative to being in the street and using guns as a way of making a living, or protecting themselves, then maybe we can just stop the crime. At least lower it. If we say one life, we take one off the street, that could have been 5, 10, 15 lives we saved.
And you're planning on giving more money to buy back guns than the NYPD usually does?
Yes, actually. The NYPD normally gives back, the NYPD and the DA's office gives back about $200 per gun. We're trying to do 3 or 4. Because the idea is, again, like I said, some of these kids can buy a gun for $150. We want to take that gun out of their hands. They can use that money, hopefully, to go looking for a job. And eventually we want to do other programs along with the gun buyback. We want to give jobs for guns, job training. We want to do mentorship programs. This is just a foot in the door to get us in there to make the thing happen first. We're on the ground level now. We got everybody involved. The churches have been a very, very big help with this.
Yeah.
Along with the NYPD. So we got the sign off from everybody, and we're just trying to do what we can do.
Right. How did you get involved with the Brooklyn Clergy NYPD Task Force?
Well, that came with a partnership of the NYPD. I was talking with the NYPD first, and I know some of the pastors, and they were trying to do what they're doing. So again, this is bigger than everybody. So why not have everybody come together and do this? The more heads, the better for us. Again, it's bigger than one person, one club, one church, one police precinct. This is bigger than everybody. So we need to all come together with the same thought process and try to get these guns off the street.
Right. Have you talked to some of the teenagers and kids? And
Mostly the clergy has. We've talked to them, and the common denominator is that they're all looking for a way out. A lot of them are really looking for a way out. It's hard to believe, but once you sit down and talk to them and they realize that somebody else cares, they want to get out. They want to stop doing what they're doing.
And how do you think they'll get out?
Hopefully through mentorship. I told these guys we're all the new leaders. We can't look to the politicians or anybody else to do what we need for our community. We have to do it ourselves. And that means that we have to get out there. We have to talk to these kids. We have a better rapport with the kids than, say, a police officer, because they look at us as being someone like them. And that's the way you get to somebody. You don't come at them from a power standpoint. You come at them as their equal. And they'll understand and I respect that more.
Right. How do you approach them as their equal?
Because we're from the streets also.
Yeah.
We're all from the street. And We know some of what they're going through, but the main thing is we have meetings with these kids. A lot of people they have meetings and they create policy about kids without the kids being there.
Right.
So one of the things that we're trying to do is have meetings with the kids, and the clergy has been very instrumental in doing that. Thank you.
I wonder if you can tell me how the NYPD, the clergy NYPD task force started.
The NYPD Clergy Task Force started, that was through the efforts of Bishop A.D. Lyons, Gerald C. Brooks, and Reverend A.C. Pettaway. They looked at the situation in our community, decided we can no longer live the way we're living without destroying ourselves, and something had to happen. They felt like we had to take a new and fresh approach to how we approach the community, to reach out to both the police and the clergy to work together as a unit for the betterment of our community. A series of meetings were held. A lot of the clergy bought into it, and thus the task force was formed after we had our initial meeting with Police Commissioner Kelly.
Yeah, can you tell me about his when you approached him?
Well, he said he was very pleased because usually he was the one doing reaching out, and it was refreshing to see a group of clergy out to him and say that we need your help in an effort that we want to bring forth that will benefit the community.